All right, so it's Wednesday, and we've been talking about making decisions and really making bad decisions. What are some contributing factors to bad decisions? Yesterday, we talked about impatience, right? The centurion was impatient because of the time of the year, and so he wanted to push on and take that voyage. Even after Paul had warned him, he said, hey, listen, this isn't good. Don't do it. It's not good for the ship, for the cargo, and for our own lives. Now, let me ask you a question. What's a centurion? Who's a centurion? Well, a centurion is a wise and kind individual. Interesting that this wise and kind individual was not listening to Paul. So here's who he was listening to. Verse 11 tells us, says this, but the centurion, this wise and kind individual, instead of listening to what Paul said, followed the advice of the pilot and the owner of the ship. And the pilot and the owner of the ship said, press on, keep going. Here's my thought for today. Sometimes we make bad decisions because we listen to expert advice. Like, think about it. The centurion, why was he going to listen to this preacher or missionary that was on his way to Rome versus the owner of the ship and the pilot? Like, you would think the owner and the pilot would have the expert advice and recommendation to give about the decision to move forward. I get it. In human terms, that makes sense. But as followers of Jesus Christ, I want to challenge you. Our expert ultimately is who? It's God. It's God. He's our expert. And as the expert, he gives to us the Holy Spirit who lives inside of us. If you're a follower of Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit lives inside of you, and he is the Spirit of truth to lead you, regardless of what the experts say, okay? So I know in my life, sometimes I've made decisions based upon the recommendation of experts, and inside of me, in my gut, I knew I shouldn't go that direction. Not because it was immoral or illegal, but just because I just felt like, that's not the way to go. Usually, that's the Holy Spirit speaking to us. See, we make poor decisions when we put greater value in so-called experts rather than the expert himself. That's why one of the prayers that we need to be praying this Wednesday is simply this: God, would you give me wisdom? James 1:5 wisdom. God, I need wisdom. I ask you for wisdom. Because whoever asks for wisdom, James says, God gives abundantly and generously. You need wisdom to make great decisions, and that wisdom is heaven down, divine for you. So make great decisions today based on the expert of your soul, not the expert of a ship. I'll see you tomorrow on The Daily Dose.